So one of my favorite stretches for this is hips, hamstrings, inner thighs, IT band, so outer thighs, which also gets into like your low back. You can also like, depending on where you hold the strap, add in an arm stretch. So one of my favorite things for all those is to use a strap. This is a yoga strap. If you like look it up online or something, that's what you can find it under. Also, like at one of my studios, we have like the karate belts that we kind of use as straps. It has to be long enough for you to be able to keep your foot or your leg in place. So once you have the strap, you're gonna open the strap, you're gonna place it around the arch of the foot. It doesn't really matter which foot. You can pick whichever one you wanna start with. I'm gonna start with my right. Left knee or left leg, it can stay bent towards the sky. Maybe that opens up into a half butterfly. Now you have a little hip opener on this other side, a little counterbalance, efficiency stretch, or you can extend that leg straight out or anything else that feels good. And we'll start by just bringing this foot in the strap straight to the sky. I usually like to find ankle movement here, flexion, extension, circles. I usually take a couple breaths, maybe like 3 to 5, maybe even 10 if I'm really feeling it. I'm gonna go through this a little bit quicker though. So we're starting with to the sky. If you don't like the movement, or even if you do, you can keep the hips heavy, and then if you don't like the movement, you can press the heel towards the sky. Now I'm pressing the heel towards the sky, I'm sinking the hips into the floor, I'm elongating the back of the leg even a little bit more. And then next we're gonna take this leg to the outside. So as wide or as far as feels comfortable in your leg. You could also use a block or something underneath this thigh to give you a little bit more support. And here's where I like to get a little arm stretch. I'll hold as close as I can to my foot on the strap, and then I can find that arm opening too. I feel it pulling all the way from my shoulder. Left hip is staying heavy. If it's straight, you can say like this. Sometimes I like to bring like a half butterfly. That gives me a little counterbalance, counterweight. And sometimes I even let that float up into the air, grab for the knee. Now my thighs are in one horizontal line. It also feels like a little counterbalance. Feels a little less like work in my low back. And again, you can move around the ankle here. If you wanted, you could slightly bend the leg. Now I'm kind of on the more of like a happy baby. Wherever you are, take a couple breaths. One more breath. And if that left leg is floating, I'm gonna bring it back to the ground. I'm gonna bring this foot and the strap back up to the sky, and then I'm gonna bring this leg across the body. Finding this in the IT band. You can resist this twist, probably easier done with a straight leg. Keeping the right hip really heavy, finding that length from the hip through the edge of the foot. You can even rotate the inside of the foot, inside edge of the foot towards the inside edge of the leg. So you're opening up through the outside edge of the ankle, or turn the toes towards the left shoulder. Now I'm opening up another, kind of wrapping around into that muscle, into the glute. Or you can give into the twist for more of a spinal stretch. I usually like to have my other arm out to a half T. You can find a wrist movement here, reaching out through the palm of the hand, spreading the fingers wide, making circles. One more breath. And we'll gently guide that foot back up to the sky. We're gonna open the strap. Left foot's gonna come in. Right foot's gonna come down. You can find whatever position you want. Maybe that leg is straight. Maybe the knee's bent towards the sky. Maybe that knee opens up towards the outside. You're starting with the hamstring, so maybe pull that leg towards your face. You can find movement through the ankle. And then if you really want to play with some static lengthening, really sinking the hips down into the mat, pressing the heel up toward the sky. You could also be pulling on that strap a little bit, activating a little bit more engagement, flexion of the foot. Wherever you are, we'll take one more breath. And then we're opening that leg to the outside. Maybe the right knee floats, giving yourself a little counterbalance, counterweight. Maybe use a prop underneath the left thigh to give it a little bit more support in the hip. Or sometimes the back of the knee, like that can get strained too. You can also play with bending the knee if it's feeling too much in the back of the knee. 2 more breaths here. The next inhale, we're guiding the foot back up to the sky. Right leg can come back down. I'm gonna lengthen mine out. You can do whatever you want with yours. We're bringing the foot across the body. You can keep heavy in that left hip, really find length through the IT band. Maybe you find movement in the ankle, or you can give into that twist for more of a spinal stretch. You might make a half C with the hands, find movement in the wrists, the forearms. Find your breath. One more. Next inhale, left hip is pulling back into the mat. We're guiding the foot back to the sky. We're gonna open the strap up. Both feet come in. We're gonna bring the feet as wide as our straps or our body will allow. And we're just gonna find a little tick-tock from side to side to feel like an inner thigh stretch. And a little sacral massage, a little low back release. And you can also find stillness. Maybe you sink the tailbone down towards the mat. Press out through the feet. Feet are flexed. Back of the neck is long. One more breath here. Drop the knees towards the armpits, coming in for a happy baby. You can wrap up in the strap to bring the feet a little closer together. You could also get rid of the strap. Reach for outside edges of the feet. You could loop 2 fingers around the big toes. It might feel good to hold on to the ankles or the thighs or anything else that feels good for you. Ooh, there's my stomach. That's like the last day of my no gluten, no sugar, no meat, no dairy, no everything I love diet. Just try to do like a little cleanse. Do I really want a burger? Anyways, bend the knees, feet come towards the butt. Feet come to the mat. We'll cross the left ankle over the right thigh or lower this whole structure over to the right, bottom of the left foot coming to the floor for a little figure 4 twist. I don't know if you can hear it on the camera. My stomach's growling. That's why I went on that whole little tangent about food. One more breath here. Knees come back to the sky. Left foot steps down, right ankle over left thigh. And we'll lower everything to the left. Bottom of the right foot comes to the floor. You can make this stretch more intense by drawing everything up closer to the chest, or less intense by drawing everything towards the bottom edge of the mat. I usually end up holding my foot just in place. You could also draw the knee in towards the chest for a little more stretch to the glute, or press it away for a little more opening in the hip. 2 more breaths here. And with our next inhale, we'll bring everything back to center. You might stretch the legs out long. Take a couple breaths here, no rush to move. And we are done. That's the end of our little stretch. Have a good day.